Pizza Polka! Which is crazy because there's not a lot of it in this movie, oddly enough. I'm JP Sruno, and I'm with, of course, Michaela Booth, and we're rest of our roundtable right here is El Dondito in Paraguay. Hope you're feeling better. Hope you feel safe. Or, I don't know, Paraguay's safe, right? I don't know. But we love you is what I'm trying to say. Steve Dez TV and Jason Eccles. And right now we're going to talk about the movie UHF, the Weird Al movie. Right now we're in our cult classics line right now. And sad to say, this movie did not do all too well when it came out. It came out the same year as the third Indiana Jones movie, Batman Forever, I think, and like a lot of hot contenders that year. I mean, that's the excuse that they say why the movie bombed, but you know, I'm sure it's for other reasons as well. Let me go through the hold on, let me I know I have IMDb somewhere right here. Who is in this movie? A lot of notable folks are in it. We got Weird Al, of course, Michael Richards, David Bowie, Victoria Jackson, and Fran Drescher, all of whom ended up having really good luxurious careers in televisions, none of whom are controversial today. There's not a bad thing to say about any of those people that I said at all. Let's go into our initial thoughts. I'm gonna save mine for later. I'll pass the torch to Dino. I'll give you the tone.
Well, thank you. Namaste. I can't remember if this is actually the first time I watched it. There are things that felt familiar that I had maybe seen before. It could just be that every now and then you see clips of Weird Al and stuff like that, so you might have seen it. Either way, the movie came out in '89. I don't know if JT said Batman Forever, but Batman Forever did not come out in '89. The first Batman did.
Poop. I'm done.
But you said Indiana Jones 3, which I don't know if... Anyway, point being, I think this is one of those movies that if I watched as a kid, I'd been like, I would only remember the funny bits, which would be kind of the, the things that they spoof and all that. I mean, they spoof a bunch, from Indiana Jones to Rambo, Network as well. They make fun of Network. They make fun of, or they mention Close Encounters of a Third Kind with the mashed potatoes early on. So there is a bunch of references of just, right, whether it's just kind of an Easter egg here or there, it's a throwaway line, all of that. So there were, but overall, the movie, I don't know if it's dated. I just wasn't feeling it. I feel like I'd rather just watch his music videos than a movie of him. And maybe that's also because of Michael Richards and all that. It's just on another level at the same time. So excuse me. I have the black lungs, Papa. So yeah, so that's kind of my first impression. It had some really funny moments. I think as a kid, I would have, remembered all the funny parts. And now, I don't know. It's fine. Like, it's just fine. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up for me, since I'm gonna skedaddle, since I can't talk for more than 2 minutes without coughing along. But I want to watch this movie again, and I don't think I would recommend this movie to anyone. I do really like Weird Al Yankovic. I can't even say his name right now, but I just wouldn't recommend it. I just think this movie is good, just being there and showing clips from the movie here and there. But as a whole, it's nothing special. That's it.
I thought he was gonna say weird. We'll get better, Dino. We love you.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Vitamin C. Vitamin C you later. And now I'm gonna pass it on to Dez. Dez, what do you do? What do you think about the movie? What do you think about the movie?
First time ever watching the movie and coming into my radar and everything. And I gotta say, I enjoyed it a lot. I had a great time. Definitely, when I started watching the movie, I was like, "Oh, I definitely need to get high for this." That was the first thing that came into my head, just because of the silliness of it all. But honestly, I had some literal laugh out loud moments while watching this movie. Uh, we probably are going to discuss it further, but there's one that I just have to mention right now, and that is when they're showing like the different TV programs that this little television station has. When they have the Mexican dude and he's teaching the dogs to fly, I almost lost my shit and fell up on the floor because I laughed so hard. I just couldn't believe what I was watching. Uh, so yeah, I had a great time watching it.
Yeah. I love that bit too. And then just go a little more into that. It was the guy was Raul, and he was played by Trinidad Silva, which unfortunately this was his last movie. He passed away during the making. It's in tribute to him at the ending credits. Sad little factoids, but the guy was great. I really liked his character, even though he was only in 2 scenes. But like both of them, like out of everyone's performances, I felt like his, even though it was for a short while, it hit the mark. It was just right. He was right. Okay, I'm gonna pass it on to Jason real quick.
Yo, yo, yo. So this is not my first time seeing UHF. I've seen it before, like when I was a kid, I guess. And I've seen it in like bits and pieces here and there. I remember really liking this movie as a kid. And I always have loved Weird Al Yankovic. The movie holds up about as well as I thought it would. It's not particularly funny anymore for me, having a more developed sense of comedy now. I could see one thing I kept asking myself as I rewatched this is like, I wonder if kids would like this today. Also, Steve, did you end up getting high before watching this film?
I did a little bit. Just
a little bit, a little high. Okay. I think I would say that I like this movie for a few reasons. And I also can understand where Dino is coming from. I thought like Dino would either love or hate this thing because honestly, it feels like the kind of movie that Dino would normally like, but maybe the jokes were a little too dated for him, or maybe I don't know. I don't know why he didn't like it, but he just didn't. And I also could see that Steve would like this movie because this seems like something kind of goofy that he would be into, and maybe even. But it really, I was gonna say it feels like the kind of movie that Steve would be in, like participate in. But it also kind of feels like the movie that Dino would like to participate in. Dino really liked really silly, goofy stuff, so I don't know why this didn't really hit the mark for him. I think honestly, it's just because like. The parody in itself might be a little dated because of like the time that this came out and the things that it's parodying have been so parodied at this point, like 30 years later or however long, 25 years later, whenever this thing came out. I think though the storyline, or at least the setup for this movie, is the perfect situation of parody. A guy inherits, well, he didn't inherit, but a guy comes into a network, a television station, and he basically gets to do all the things in his imagination, and he gets to parody all the stuff that he loves or whatever. So I think this is kind of the perfect showcase for him to be able to just do that, which is what Weird Al is great at, So this is kind of the perfect vehicle for him. I feel like maybe this movie didn't do well when it came out. I don't know the numbers, JP. Maybe you could share them with us if you know them. But
$1 million, I think, at most.
It did $1 million.
like 6-8 million. One of those two.
Okay. Yeah, who knows how much it costs to produce this, but I mean, I can see that, but I'm sure this thing had a pretty good life on VHS and cable and DVD. I'm sure it made its money back. I watched it on YouTube, and they're showing ads with it on there. I know it's on Tubi. Yeah, that's my first re-impression of this. There's a lot of people in it that I forgot was in it, like Fran Drescher and Emo Phillips, and that was equally as weird. Yeah, that's my first impression of the film.
I love Emo Phillips in this one. It's weird how there's a lot of people who like ended up becoming like totally famous for other works on television, and they all happen to be in this movie. It's so strange, and some of them, like I said in the beginning, nothing bad to any of them. Don't Google it. All right. What you thought about movie? You could go ahead and strangle me if you want. That's okay. I love you.
I mean, I don't think I'm the right demographic for it. Like, it's not
a 13-year-old boy,
right? Well, no, like, but that's like what it feels like. It feels like something a 9-year-old would try to be sneaky about and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm like super edgy because I know what this movie is. There's like blood in it, guys." Like that's kind of what this felt like. It felt like if Monty Python was made for children.
I'm gonna. I thought it was more like if Airplane was made for children.
Ooh, that's actually better. That's actually a better comparison. That actually hits it right on the head. Like it's watchable. Like it's something that like you probably want your little siblings. Like I can definitely see how it influenced a lot of people's like senses of humor.
Who is him? Who is he?
But yeah, no, it just felt like a sketch show that went on a little too long.
That's fair. I'm just gonna admit it straight out. I'm biased about this movie. Like, it's almost impossible for me to review it objectively because I know it's not a good movie. The third act is really slow. This is basically just a theatrical vehicle for Weird Al and very strange sketch ideas that he and his manager came up with just for this movie. And I guess the only real detriment for me as both a fan and as a moviegoer is that there's oddly not a lot of music.
Yeah.
Like for a Weird Al project, I would have expected a lot more music videos and more song parodies, but no, it was just a bunch of little funny sketches that you would probably see on the Weird Al show or in the beginning of his music videos. But other than that, I've seen this movie so many effing times. I think Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel said that they didn't laugh once during the movie. That was their review. And then Emo Phillips, who has a small cameo in this film, he was quoted as saying that this was every 15-year-old boy's non-secular bar mitzvah from the 80s and 90s, and now they're all Trump supporters.
Oh damn! Oh damn!
So that was his take, and he's in the movie. But
Wait, who said that?
Emo Phillips.
Oh wow!
That. But all in all, it's if you get past the history of some of the cast members in this film, because as flawed as Michael Richards was, and he had that whole big debacle, he steals this movie. It basically becomes his right when Stanley Swadowski ends up having his own show at the station. It's very endearing and whatnot. But all in all, it's silly, it's juvenile, but not to the point where you kind of want to smack a kid. You'll join laughing with this kid. And so objectively, I'm gonna say C+, but I know in my heart this is fucking S tier movie, motherfuckers. Weird, I will never say that. He doesn't curse.
Nope.
But anyways, let's get on to it. Does anyone want to I'll open the floor.
Yeah, I want to jump in and say that JP, you look like Weird Al Escobar. Just wanted to make sure that was heard and known.
I'll take it. I'll take that and all that means. The accordions, the cocaina, everything with that.
You look like Napoleon Dynamite went on Hawaiian vacation.
I look like the offspring of Napoleon Dynamite and Pedro.
That's right.
Maybe.
Okay.
You look like the love child of Napoleon Dynamite, Pedro, and you guys fell into a vat of Weird Al albums.
Dare to be stupid. That's a good song as well. Anyways, shoot, because I didn't really come prepared. I'm not gonna lie. You know what? I did talk about the cast. Does anyone want to talk about their favorite characters, or like if anyone knows how some of them may have been controversial as time went on? Did that affect your movie watching experience at all? Because I know when I first saw it, I was completely ignorant.
I'm gonna tell you one that was controversial for sure. The moment I saw it, I was like, "That Buddha too, Gandhi too,
Gandhi too,
Gandhi too.
who is played by Jay Levey, which was Weird Al's manager and director of this film, and he is definitely not Indian in the slightest.
Yikes.
A lot of weird people, a lot of weird characters in this film. You know, you just sort of feel like Weird Al was casting his friends. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's the controversial ones. There's the Michael Richards. You know, it's hard to even look at that guy. But he, I thought he was, for what this movie is, I thought he was kind of perfect for it. You know, even though he's a scumbag, still, in my opinion. But the karate instructor that lived next door, he, I didn't like that he had like this weird Japanese accent or whatever.
Is that, I think Ken Watanabe, I think was his name.
Yeah.
He's like in every 80s movie, and he's only, I don't remember which movie he is in, because he's from Utah. Like he's as Americana as it comes, and you know he plays every Asian friend. Like I think in 16 Candles and like all those other silly movies, he was like that Asian transfer student. And so like I'll admit that was also kind of sad. It's like he's playing like that Asian stereotypical role. But oh my god, I love his line that. You're so stupid.
Stupid. Like you hear it through the walls. Like like the character isn't that bad. It's just for me the accent. Like I don't feel like he needed the accent, but in the 80s, you know, they were like, yeah, man, you gotta do an Asian accent if you want to work in this town. If you're Asian, you know, like you know, that's just the way it is and was, unfortunately. And the weird part is we're just now starting to come out of that, like in the last few years, like. After all this time, we're just like since like the 40s and 50s, probably we're just now starting to come out of like not every Asian American character needs an accent, needs an Asian accent. So that's great.
It's progress. It does.
It's progress. It's slow progress.
But anywho, like any other like I do want to talk about the Emo Phillips scene. Like it's so crazy. Like that's how he performs. Like he's playing himself in this movie. It's such a weird choice of character, and that's one of the reasons why the movie got its PG-13 rating. This time around, I barely caught it that the blood went into that guy's eye, and he kept on acting. Like there's no way I would have kept up with where the hell he's doing if that shit got in my eye.
You know what I was thinking when that blood was splashing everywhere? It's like they're obviously made a choice to wear very light clothes to make the blood obvious. And I was thinking, like, they get this all in one take, or did they have to like reset and clean all that blood up and change their clothes? I mean, how many times would you do that scene?
I saw the DVD commentary, and from what I heard, if it's true, I think there's at least 4 to 5 different takes of that scene. But I don't know if that means like, did they have to redo it, or was it just different takes while the blood was splurting everywhere? Especially on a low budget movie like that film was. Like, I can't imagine how many whites they got in the bag. Like, okay, let's clean emo and let's clean Al up and make sure they don't get the whites dirty again.
So just to confirm stats, the budget of this film was $5 million, and it grossed at the time $6.1 million at the box office.
That's a profit of 1.5. That's great.
Well, see, not necessarily, because one thing that they don't account for is like, yeah, that's the budget, but also like you have the first 2 weeks that a film opens, you do a 50-50 split with the movie theater. Or no, you do an 80-20 split with the movie theater. So 20% of that goes to the exhibitor, and then after the first 2 weeks, every day after, it's a 50-50 split with the exhibitor. So really, this movie probably grossed something closer to 3.5-4 million.
Mm-hmm.
Man, poor Al. He's not gonna afford those solid gold Humvees anymore. Getting screwed.
I mean, something tells me he's fine, but okay.
I think this was technically. I think this is like the last movie that Orion made officially.
Oh,
Like, I think their company went like to the shitter after this movie.
damn.
Yeah, it was sad.
Damn. But there's like a lot of weird like serendipity stuff that happens in this film. Because like we were talking about the grape scene where like they're just chatting and he's like tossing grapes.
Yeah.
And the guy caught every single one. And there's no one that was edited.
No, like
that's...
to a normal person that means fucking jack shit, but like I can't perform that. You know, catching each grape and then keep on going with the scene.
Well, chances are it wasn't even written in the script.
You don't think so?
No, like the scene itself was way too casual. I think it was just something they started doing to make it interesting.
Oh no, I think. Oh, they said that they did it all in one take, so kudos to them because it looks good. That silly grape scene. David Bowe, what a name, poor guy. Because that's another thing.
He's one letter off, and he's
just
not as thin either.
And from what I heard, his IMDb credits get mixed up with David Bowie's.
Oh my god, so, this is so annoying.
So like,
I legit jumped out of my chair. David Bowie's here. Is like,
oh shit.
George, I'm here to save your station, George.
Could you imagine? Be a completely different movie.
We're gonna take RJ together, George.
Well, I think another thing that makes this film really interesting is like you can really just tell that this is just like one huge experiment. Which is why I don't think there's music in it. Is I think Weird Al was trying to see if he could branch out his brand to a different medium.
Yeah.
Like he didn't want people to like associate it.
He could
He's
definitely
got the MTV song in there though.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. He has that one singular song.
Which I also learned from the commentary. Like I think either the drummer or the guitarist of that the film the song that it's parodying. Like, because Weird Al always asks the original artist first, like, hey, can I parody your song? It's no legal obligation. He just wants to do it in good faith.
Mm-hmm.
And to like not be blacklisted in the industry and whatnot. And apparently the guy said like, oh, like you can do it, but I have to do part of the instrumental for it. And that was the only thing. That was the only like thing that he said, like if you put me in that, I'll do it. And you could do the parody too. Another silly tidbit was apparently he did it kind of like, because when his band does parodies, they try to do it almost exact. But the way that the guy was doing it, since he's been, doing this all his life, it sounded more like his style and not the actual instrumental. So they ended up dubbing over his instrumental or something.
That's funny.
I don't know. I just thought it was crazy. Like, really, like that's how like you want it to be that perfect sort of thing, where it's like even if the legit person does their own thing, it's like, oh damn, now it sounds kind of different.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So I remember a controversial story of Weird Al asking Coolio if he could do a parody of Gangster's Paradise, and Coolio said no, and Weird Al released it anyways, and Coolio like hated his guts after that.
yeah. It's weird from my understanding from Al's side of the story, it was miscommunication. Yeah, they said that his record company, Coolio's, said that it was okay. So he got the okay from them supposedly, but not directly from Coolio, which is like, oh, that's still not good.
I said sneakiness.
I
in
said
that.
sabotage.
Yes, I do too. I think that's some very convenient information.
But at the same time, like at this point, like present day, from my understanding, they buried the hatchet with it. So I mean, at the end of the day, Coolio did like make a lot of goddamn money off of that song. Like,
Off of the parody?
no, not the parody, but still like they both did well. Either way.
Yeah.
Like,
It would be sad if like he would have like listened to Coolio and not released Amish Paradise because it was really fantastic. I remember Amish Paradise being in the top 10 on TRL when he came out. You know what I mean? Like it was in the top 10 for like weeks. So it was actually legitimately good.
it's one of those great songs where like, because I think Weird Al's music videos are really hit and miss, especially his modern ones. But like that was a good music video. I really like it.
Yeah, it's one of his best. It's one of his top 3 best music videos for sure.
It's so weird. The Amish were so quiet about it. Like you never hear what they thought at all regarding.
Yeah. One day they're gonna find out about it.
Man, it's great.
No, I heard that's one of the reasons why they created Breaking Amish, because of the outrage.
Is that an actual show?
Yes.
Not like a reality show? That's what it sounds like.
It's a reality show about Amish
Like-
people not being Amish for a little while. It's like that's something that they do apparently. They go into the world and get crazy.
Yeah, they when they turn 19, they're allowed to go out into the world and decide if they want to stay with the family or not.
Damn.
But if they choose not, that means like
they go to heck.
Yep. No more talking to mom or dad or nothing. Exiled. That's your choice.
That's where they get you. Oh, Jimmy, you're gonna go to heck, and you don't get to see your family no more.
So you get to either party forever or
Oh.
stay.
Well, since it's Amish,
Yeah.
Jimmy,
It's like a reverse Scientology.
Kind of, yeah.
yeah. Except
And, you
in
know, it's probably terrible anyways because they probably come out of like their Amish bubble and they go into the real world and like nobody likes them because they don't know any like for real. They don't know any pop culture references. They don't know what anybody's talking about. Like everything's going over their head. They know how to build like a mean butter turning machine, but they can't like tell you like who the cast of like Family Matters was. You know what I mean? It's it's like it's probably like really disappointing. They're like, man, like I thought it was gonna be great. You know what I mean? And I don't fit in, so I'm gonna go back to being Amish. I bet you the return rate is like in the high 90s.
Oh, it is. And like that kind of learning curve is steep.
It's like if the homeschool kid ended up homeschooling a kid, and then that kid within like a year or two homeschooled another kid or something.
Yeah.
But like,
That's what that's like. That's totally what that's like.
no, okay. All right. Now we're just gonna talk about his music, which again is like the Beverly Hillbilly song is great, but like it's the only one there, and that makes me kind of sad. Well, there's also the hog song that his uncle listens to in the pool, like "Let me be your hog, let me be your hog now," and that's it.
I didn't hear it.
It's a blink if you miss it type of thing. Like,
Well, I feel like that was like also my problem with the movie too. Is like there was just so much going on the whole movie.
yeah.
That like there was like so many things I know I missed.
Yeah.
I know I missed.
Because I'll admit the story like story-wise, it's not exactly linear. Like there is a B, and C, but like in between those three simple letters, they deviate and they go back and forth. Like I think in the third act where they say like, "Oh, George only has 2 days to get the $75,000." Still to this day, I'm like, was it 2 days? Because it feels like it's been more than like that. Like from that being the inciting incident, it's like, oh, you need this money in 2 days. Like from that to the end, that didn't feel like 2 days at all. It felt a lot longer.
Because they were showing the telethon.
Yeah.
I thought they said they were going to run out of money in a week.
Oh, that was in the first act of the movie before they gave Michael Richards' character the show, because he breaks up with Terry.
Terry, yeah.
Yeah. That was another weird one. That it's funny because like a lot of the female leads in this film like very like I like it, but weird. I was kind of pushing it with the whole like give me like come on, like come back to me, you know.
See, like if you did something like that, I'd be pissed because like where the fuck am I gonna put this heart? Like I'm gonna have to throw away all of these fucking balloons.
That's where half the budget went, was those balloons.
Damn.
All those balloons, the big light up heart and whatnot.
Also, can we real quick talk? Okay, so did he break into her house? How did this happen?
I said that while we were watching the movie. I was like, oh my God, he never gave back the key.
Exactly.
Yeah, because she broke up with him on the phone, so he still had the key.
I'd be so upset. I would not have even been like, oh, I wouldn't have even given you that. I would have been like, you're gonna pick up your plasticky shit right now, and it's gonna be your problem, not mine.
But he was in hell. He said in the messaging machine.
She literally gave her a plastic light up heart the size of a headboard.
Oh, it was definitely bigger than that.
It was bigger than that. Like that, like if I saw that, I'd be so stressed out. Like what would I do with that?
Like what department?
Does it just live in my apartment now forever?
Like what?
Do I feed it?
What department store sold that? it wasn't Spatula City.
It was the 80s. That's all you have to know. It was the 80s.
It was the 80s. Oh my God! And then Fran Drescher as who ends up becoming the news coordinator for UHF. She's also really great in this film. They give a lot of like people who would normally get like the short shaft, like good roles in this. Like I'm glad that they didn't like, even though they had a few stereotypical jokes like Noodles Macintosh. Like they didn't do too many like oh well, he's a little person, he's a short person, we're gonna fucking like that's all he's gonna be good for is little people jokes. Where like no, like they fucking treat him like an asshole in one scene, but they never like disparage him. You know, only the jerks disparage people. Like there's
did his camera say Noodles on it?
Yes,
it did.
It was his kit, his equipment.
Yeah,
and it didn't have a wire, so it was like a wireless camera.
Yeah, Noodles like put money and love into that camera.
Yeah.
That was his baby. Sure.
I mean, no one like they broke his wireless camera in 1989.
And I love that he and the cameraman who's at UHF, the bigger gentleman, like near like at the end of the movie they end up being pals. Like it's a quiet thing, like you don't see it outright, but if you watch the background, like they help each other a lot in this movie. It's like I want to see that. I want to see that movie. I want to see the cameraman movie between that guy and Noodles. Like I want to see that one.
Yeah, they try to organize a union at the station for cameramen.
Oh, that'd be great.
You want what now? Benefits.
And then Weird Al becomes the bad guy.
In a strange twist of events.
Right.
Capitalism, guys. Capitalism the whole time.
Did you guys
try to put it off on his uncle?
Did you guys see on that Jerry Springer like show
Oh, it was Geraldo Rivera, which
that was kind of funny.
I was shocked that you got that reference.
I watched a Vice documentary about it.
Did you see the little girl biting like the leg?
Oh, the leg of the axe murderer. I thought it was crazy. Like out of all of them that got the most physical, it was the little girl, because there was a Nazi, an axe murderer, a Ku Klux, a Klansman, and I'm missing something. Oh, the lady. Was she supposed to be something?
S&M.
S&M. Yeah.
Like they basically did all of Geraldo's like most spicy things, and it's like put it in a room and don't forget the chair.
Did you say you saw a Vice documentary about Geraldo?
Well, not about him specifically. They had a series on the crazy stuff that was happening in the 80s and 90s, and there was an episode dedicated to reality TV and how his stuff kind of started into that because he was competing with like another woman, and then like this thing happened where a guy murdered somebody because he was like everyone thought he was gay, but he wasn't gay, but his friend was gay, and so he killed his friend.
And
through the whole thing.
And they even
I lived through that. I remember when that was in the news because I was a huge Jenny Jones fan.
Oh dang!
I used to watch Jenny. It used to come on like late at night at one point in Detroit, and I would watch it every single night on the phone with my best friend. It was just trash TV at its finest.
I just also love that they committed to the Rivera jokes to the point where like they even bring up the Jimmy Hoffa safe, that whole big thing where it's like instead it's who was it in the movie? Al Capone's glove compartment is like, aha, road maps.
So at least he found something.
It was like he called the devil a pinhead. Oh, shut up, you pinhead.
Well, because like that was like also like the thing that was happening too, was like the satanic panic.
Yeah.
And so, and like I feel like that's how that always went, was like the one guy who's just like, guys, I just want to do my own thing and praise Satan, leave me alone.
It was regarding that. There's deleted scenes. This film has a lot of deleted scenes. You could literally make a longer movie. Like it's insane how much they ended up cutting out, but it was for a good reason. But like they had a lot more sketches revolving that. Like they even had like it's such a off-colored, like I'm glad it's not in the final cut of the movie, but like one of the fake shows that they had was these two buddies like you, and they're two like nice blue-eyed blonde asshole motherfuckers, like being all cute and shit, and the title card is like, those darn homos. I was like, no. But they had other weird stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Which would not exactly go over well nowadays.
Yeah, no, I guess that's like what is kind of tragic about the whole thing, is how it just didn't end like age well.
Yeah. Which I get, like, thank goodness, in my opinion.
No, it's a good thing.
Thank goodness, like, not too much is like off the rails. Where it's like, oh, definitely, like, no, cancel this movie. We can't watch it anymore. You know. But like, yeah, like it was mostly fun. Did anyone here had a favorite skit, joke, or moment in the movie?
I did actually. I really liked that one joke where the guy has like this super elaborate cowboy hat thing on, and then like the mean network guy is just like, take that ridiculous thing off. And so he reaches up and tears off his mustache.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That, like, the timing of that was excellent. Like,
I feel like that's the overall humor of this thing. Just the slightest amount of misdirection is Weird Al's comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that's that particular scene, not the tearing off the mustache, but like the hat and stuff and the setting. To me, it looked like almost Anchorman, like got that kind of scene from it.
Probably.
It did have that vibe. Oh gosh. Well, you Des, you said that you had many good gut busting moments. Which one busted your gut the most?
I mean, I mentioned it at the top, but for sure the other one was literally the one that I followed. That he's calling in the voicemail and like leaving the voicemail, like, please, life is meaningless without you, and like screaming at the top of his lungs. Like that made me laugh a lot. Um, but yeah, the other ones were like chuckles here. Of course, in the beginning, uh, when you know the little like him going through the warning signs and stuff. Like I was like reading all of them, and then to like the prize was like an Oscar that made me laugh.
That's another thing. I know too many stupid dumb facts about this movie. If you look closely, the little Oscar man does not have a sword. So I think Oscar actually has a sword, the actual statuette. Like he has a sword holding like this. And apparently it's because the Academy threatened them saying like if you use it too much of a likeness of our award, like that's not gonna fly. It's like, oh, okay, I guess you could trademark a trophy. That's cool. It's a good factoid. Then I bet Weird Al probably like F someone's mom from the Academy or something like that.
Oh,
I
also,
love that the treasure actually was an Oscar, which is probably his way of maybe turning his nose up at the whole idea of awards, maybe even a little bit, because he uses it. Really, it uses it to prop the door open to get in, get out of the place. I hadn't even considered that, but yeah, there's probably something to that. The fact that he wanted to use an Oscar, it's his first movie. I'm sure there's something to that.
I mean, probably he even blows up Hollywood in the Rambo sequence. Like that's one of the places he blows up is Hollywood. So I was like, yeah, maybe. I think there's.
Oh yeah, I really like the last Rambo scene. I found that one that he's like ripped.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That one's pretty hilarious. Like his look and demeanor and everything. And I had one and it just slipped away. Once I get it back, I'll bring it.
Man, for me, like again, it's somewhat problematic. Just Cooney's Wheel of Fish show, like it's just great. That's my favorite little sketch in the movie. Was that just because already at this point I really fucking love that line, like you're stupid, you're so stupid. But then he brings up again when he gives the contestant a choice between like the prize that she won or a mystery box. And then when the reveal that it's nothing, and he even looks shocked himself, like, holy shit, there was nothing in the box. But then he calls her stupid. You're so stupid. I swear I'm an adult. It's funny because like there was moments that you did laugh out loud a little bit, but like the mustache one, like it was more like a royal nod, like impressive. Yes, I enjoyed that jest. Didn't see it coming.
See, now you're making me sound like a stuffy old lady.
You earned my respect, Yankovic.
I just remember two moments. The other one that made me laugh, not out loud, but made me laugh, was Conan the Librarian.
Oh yeah,
that one's pretty good. And then watching the weird scientist dude at the very end, going like, I'm going back to my home planet, whatever. Then like,
you say, Belle?
they got the same people who did that Large March sequence from the Tim Burton's Pee-wee movie to do that. So I was like, that had to be money because that looked like a very expensive claymation shot for 2 seconds in a movie that's under $6 million. Like, okay. I just really like how hunky-dory and nonsensical the movie is. Like, it's very, it's almost ahead of its time in a weird way.
Kind of, yeah.
Because like it's very much like the same vein of like YouTube compilations and whatnot. And you could tell like these guys were like they were doing the best that they could with the limited knowledge that they had.
Mm-hmm.
And like this was their first time making a movie, and thank God it doesn't show too much, but it shows enough. I was like, yeah, I could see how this was someone's first try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, all in all, I think it just works because like Weird Al's humor is very universal, mostly family friendly. But yeah, I guess now it's time to sink this bad boy into our final thoughts, and I'll go in reverse. You had your initial thought last. You can have it first this time.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think I now know a little bit more about you. And what makes you sick?
After 10 years later?
Well, like, it's just like we've never watched it together. And, like, it's kind of like a cornerstone of, like, your references. Like, it's a big part of my personal mythology. And
you probably watched this movie like, oh my God, he's a joke thief.
Kind of.
Oh my God. Just the fact that JP's like referencing this thing all the time.
Oh, y'all don't even know.
You can't imagine how many times he called me stupid, and it wasn't my fault.
Anyways, I mean, I think this is like something that you would like try to sneak in to like make your little brother watch because you think he'd enjoy it. You know, like if like this is specifically for like 10 to 13. And that's who I would suggest it for.
If I was an uncle, I would just like force this upon my nephews. Like that's what I do.
GP, is this your final thought?
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I already said it. Whoever's next can go. Good luck.
We're in the same box. I'm sorry.
All right, well, I'll go. Final thought. I don't really need to see this movie again. I was happy to see it this time to revisit it because I really didn't remember a whole lot about it other than the initial premise. I love Weird Al, so it's fun watching this thing. It's fun seeing where he's come from and where he's gone. Who would I recommend this thing to? Big time Weird Al Yankovic fans. Like, did you know he had a movie? And I'm sure they do because they'd be big fans of his. I think Michaela's right. This does have this does fit into the little brother box. I feel like this is the kind of movie that I don't think this movie holds up for kids today though. I don't think they would get it or like it at all. You know what I mean? Like I think 90% of the reference would be lost on them, and they wouldn't like, why doesn't he just call with the cell phone kind of thing? You know what I mean? Like yeah. I just think like I hesitate to say what I'm about to say next, but I think it might be accurate. I just feel like in 2022, this movie's played out.
I feel that. I mean,
do you know what I mean?
It is literally about ultra high frequency.
Yeah.
It's like if you suddenly made I don't even think they do that anymore because like ultra high frequency, you could used to have that on radio televisions, which literally like 2 years ago was just made obsolete. Like you can no longer use a radio television because there is no signal for it anymore. Like the FCC,
like 10 years ago.
Enough. Like that's it.
But there is something cool about it too. Inheriting or coming into a TV station, it's pretty dope. You know what I mean? To be like a program director and to manage a TV station, like, that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? It's like, I guess that's YouTube now, technically, but everyone can be a TV channel programmer now. But yeah, that's my final thought, I guess. I guess that leaves you, Steve.
I'll go ahead. No, JP hasn't gone. My final thought will be I enjoyed this movie. First time watching this movie. Never came across my radar. Never would have watched it if it wasn't for the cinema club. Would I watch it again? Maybe not. maybe if I do end up watching it, it will be like years and years and years to come to see if it even holds up by then. But honestly, one time watch, it was enjoyable. It was cool. I had a blast. I laughed in many ways there. Yeah, there's some things that are problematic about the movie itself, but if you get bypass that, you can enjoy yourself and have a good time. I didn't feel it was that long of a movie. There's movies that are much longer that I dread watching. Just didn't feel like it. Would I recommend it to someone? Like Jason said, just people that love Weird Al or just want to get a nice movie to enjoy because they watch movies every day. Because there's people that do that. I only watch movie once a week because Cinema Club. But there's people that watch it every day. So one day you can pop this in and watch it if you never watched it before. Final thought.
Righty, my final thoughts. This is definitely an indoctrination type film. You can only show this to Weird Al fans, so you must start them young. It's like Kayla said, little brothers. I think at the ripe age of 12, pop the DVD in or pop it on the YouTube. You have YouTube Premium. You don't have to watch the ads. I got the Blu-ray. That's how terrible I am. I literally bought the Blu-ray just to watch it, knowing that it was free on YouTube.
You know,
brothers, look out.
This, but that's what makes it a cult classic. Like, he is the example as to why it's a cult classic.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. Like all in all, like I'm gonna say, like if I think you gotta watch in order to have an opinion. Like, of course, you have to watch in order to have an opinion on it. But like, if you don't like it, it's definitely not for you. If you do, you're literally one of maybe 8 people that found it like, great. And then out of that small sector of people, that even smaller sector of people, you're gonna keep on watching it. And the other people's like, yeah, it's fun, but you need to calm down. Yeah, slow down there, bucko. Last good Weird Al song was Maybe White and Nerdy. Calm down. I like Word Crimes. It's a really good one. I like his little polka compilations. I should shut up. And that's it for today. That was our review. I think Jason's got a little inquiry, though, before we head off.
Actually, JP, thank you. I was wondering, Steve, what do you got for us next week?
Next week, I don't know why you asked me because it's now my turn. And of course, it's not your turn because you already had your turn. And of course, it's not Michaela's turn because she already had her turn. And of course, it's not JP's turn because he just had his turn. So it's the one and only Dino. And you guys didn't know, but Dino is actually here with me. So, Dino, can you tell them, please, what is the next movie? Okay, you want me to? Okay, cool. So Dino's coming. Okay. What's up, guys? It's me, Dino.
Dino, you don't look well.
I've been having the Paraguayan flu, but it's okay. I have the next movie, a great cult classic. I am very close to the area, not in the area, but close. And the next movie, cult classic, is the one and only Brazil.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. This was one of the ones that we had as a choice before, and we ended up choosing the alternative. So this will be great.
Very, very spicy. Very spicy. So for Jason, Michaela, JP, Steve over there, and me, Dino, we'll catch you next week. Brazil. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.